Do you ever wonder why certain movies are simply a disaster? Are they truly garbage? Or perhaps they are misunderstood?
Welcome to the main course of cinematic catastrophe that is Le Crap with your gourmet Chef Bri and Chef Gio.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Lay Crap. My name is Bri.
And my name is Gio.
And boy, honestly, after last week, I've been looking so forward to this movie because, oh my god, this one is a treat. It literally hits like all my special interest boxes, and it's like, oh my god, the rabbit hole keeps getting deeper and deeper. Like, the quality of the movie, honestly, for me, doesn't really matter. But oh my god, this is such a fascinating one, and I am so excited to talk about it.
Yeah, I think after our last episode, we needed a little something lighter and not as ragey to talk about.
No, because we try to keep the vibes positive, and I know we're in our Flintstones episode that was inadvertently like our Pride episode by accident, but this is our real Pride episode. And in a quite literal way, we are talking about the rainbow, and not just any rainbow, Rainbow motherfucking Brite.
Yahoo!
Which, by the way, outside of Robot Chicken, I don't know shit about this because I'm a 90s baby. Rainbow Brite was a little bit after me, but it comes from the same generation of like 80s toy commercials, blah blah blue. And then I also have a conspiracy theory about Rainbow Brite that I will talk about later.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't even know what this was until you told me about it. And I was like, that doesn't ring any bells.
It's on the higher echelon of like 80s things.
But considering I'm like a mid-90s baby, then yeah, kind of missed out on this.
I kind of feel like in order to introduce my conspiracy theory, we have to kind of talk about one of the pioneers of television, and I shit you not, Hallmark.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to believe nowadays, considering that when anyone talks about Hallmark and television, the initial thought is always going to be small town Christmas movie number 3024.
And reruns of Murder, She Wrote. But yeah, like dead ass serious, like Hallmark is one of the pioneers of television, right along figures like Walt Disney. One of the, I believe, longest running television programs ever is Hallmark Hall of Fame, which is an anthology series of different television movies and specials. So, yeah, the weird thing is the Christmas movies are only kind of like a short, more recent footnote in Hallmark's history, but Hallmark also created Rainbow Brite.
Now, what is Rainbow Brite, you may ask? Well, Rainbow Brite was a character originally made for greeting cards, and it was made in 84, I believe, where I guess it was a conjunction between not just greeting cards, but also like a whole media franchise. You know, there was an animated series and there were toys from Mattel. And this movie also came about as a result of that. Now, to give you some context, American Greetings came out with the Care Bears about a year earlier. I'll let y'all connect the dots on that one.
Rainbow motif with marketable series and like movies like less than a year apart, and it's one of your biggest corporate rivals. Like I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but
Yeah. Now, considering the fact that I think most people know what the Care Bears are, and most people probably don't have any idea what the hell Rainbow Brite is, I don't think it's hard to discern who won that little battle. And I would think that our movie today has a big part to do with that.
oh, definitely. And ironically enough, it is Although they didn't make it, it was distributed by Warner Brothers, so ha 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 ha.
Ooh.
Yeah, the biggest boos. Boo this man. Boo. God, the amount of times I hear that and one of the other podcasts I edit. Oh my God. But yeah, the Care Bears far more iconic. I mean, fuck, they were parodied in like Rugrats. Like the Care Bears have been like pop cultured like to death. And honestly, I mean, they're not as big as they used to, but they're kind of still pretty going strong, at least with like plushies and stuff. I mean, of course, it's not like, the 80s level craze, but apparently Rainbow Brite's still going on too, which was news to me.
Yeah, same with me. Like I was looking it up when I was doing research on this movie for my notes, and like they've tried like off and on to like revive Rainbow Bright, which is like in a post Care Bears and MLP world, it's like ugh.
Yeah, it's like weird, and I totally forgot that this had happened, but I guess maybe about like a decade or so or whatever, Hallmark acquired Crayola. So I think one of the newer series was through the Crayola production company, which I only vaguely remember some of the weird Crayola stuff in the 90s because the Crayola factory, the original one, not like the more touristy things, was maybe about like an hour and a half from my house. So I used to go there, not like all the time, but a little bit as a little kid. It's fun if you have kids. I'd recommend. I mean, I haven't been there in God, maybe 20, 25 years, but if you're looking for a fun time with the kiddos, it's pretty hands-on. I would recommend it.
Huh. Actually didn't know that.
Well, now it's called the Crayola Experience, but they had like cool things like shadows on the wall, like you would leave like a light imprint, a lot of like children museum like adjacent stuff, and then you could like take home a free crayon or shit like that. And I remember one time I was probably 5, and you know what? I was 5, and the reason I know I was about 5 was I remember like after we went to McDonald's and I got a toy from Hercules, so that's how I know that.
Hercules.
Oh, God. I feel like now is the perfect segue to start into the rabbit hole of the Rainbow Bright movie. Because you would think, oh, this is just a crappy toy commercial, which it totally is, but this one is special.
Oh my God. When I tell you the rabbit hole that I went down with the production of this movie, it is utter madness. And some of the names that pop up, again, just utter madness. Let's start with the fact that this movie apparently took just 3 months to complete.
Rip Japanese animators.
Yeah, kind of skipping ahead a little bit there. So let's begin with who produced this movie. So the production company behind this movie was Deke Enterprises. Ha ha ha, make your jokes here. But Deke Enterprises, you may recall, is the same company that originally produced Inspector Gadget. And this movie also had 2 directors. One was a Frenchman by the name of Bernard, and I'm going to pronounce this wrong. I'm so sorry. Didier? I think that's how it's pronounced.
Otidier. Or, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I barely pass French.
I mean, I never took French, so
It was required. I was like that or like my vaguely like because here's the thing I hate about the American education system. Like I was okay with Spanish, and then my high school decided like, hey, you shouldn't take Spanish 2 right away. Take it a year later. So then I fucking forgot everything. So thanks, America.
yeah. So I only ever took Spanish, which I know you're probably wondering, wait, but you are Spanish. Back in high school, I couldn't speak Spanish for shit. So I kind of got away with it. But anyway, so Mr. Didier, who had worked on a few other Deke productions in the past, and then his co-director was one Kimio Yabuki, who had worked on several Toei productions back in the 70s. And now here's where some of the insanity starts with Mr. Yabuki. You see, in 1969, nice, he directed Toei's animated adaptation of Puss in Boots. Yes, for those who are unaware, Puss in Boots long precedes anything to do with Shrek and Antonio Banderas.
And that little Puss in Boots is actually the Toei logo today.
Yeah, which is the first crazy thing. But the real insane thing about that movie was the fact that one of the people who was working under Mr. Yabuki on that movie was a 28-year-old up-and-comer by the name of Hayao Miyazaki. Yes, you heard that right.
When you told me that, I was like, what?
When I saw his name on the Wikipedia page for this movie, I was like, what? But yes, just keep in mind, everything that we talk about from here on in, just bear in mind that one of the directors of this movie once worked with one of the gods of animation. Just keep that simmered into your mind. The director of Rainbow Brite, the movie, once worked with Miyazaki. I was gobsmacked when I read that. Like, holy moly.
Like, not only that, but in a way, I guess he was kind of a mentor to him. Like, I don't know the exact biography of Miyazaki, but that had to have been like one of the first, movies Miyazaki worked on.
I mean, it had to have been. I mean, he was only 28 at that point. Like, this was like long before like Studio Ghibli was even a thing.
Yeah, and this is like preceded like Lupin by at least a decade, I believe.
Yeah, so again, keep in mind that the director of this movie, and I'm not gonna blame any of the production team for this, honestly. 3 months to make essentially a commercial, you're not exactly being given much to work with. So, again, as I specified before, this movie was finished in just 3 months, which at that time was a record for an animated movie. And as you can imagine, a lot of that animation was outsourced. A lot of Deke Productions, a lot of the animation was outsourced to Japan, which I guess maybe like Zombie Island, would this technically be an anime?
Yeah, I think technically this is anime, depending on who you ask. But yeah, before South Korea kind of became like the big outsourced place for a lot of Western animation, it was Japan for the longest time, like up until I would say maybe like the mid to late 90s, because Batman the Animated Series, at least the first couple of seasons, I know were produced, I think, by TMS Animation, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that, but that was pretty much the standard, at least through like the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, because like I read, it's a lot of Deke's productions were outsourced to Japanese animation studios. And there was a bunch of studios that worked on this movie too that I saw, which I guess also goes a long way to explaining the 3-month production time that they just handed pieces of it to a bunch of different companies. All right, like here's 20 minutes, here's 20 minutes, here's 20 minutes, go.
Which is insane. Like, I can't even imagine that crunch. Like, they probably had like 25-hour work days. Like, it is insane. That is a sweatshop for Rainbow fucking Brite.
I truly feel sorry for anybody who had to crunch on this movie. So the insanity doesn't stop there because it also stretches to some of the names in the voice cast of this movie. One of which, now, when did Transformers first air?
I think like 84 or 85, because I think Transformers the movie came out in 86, right?
I think so. I'm just bringing that up because of the fact that Peter Cullen is in this movie. Yes, that Peter Cullen. Now, I was just asking because I was wondering, does this come after or before Optimus Prime?
Let me look. Okay, so the original Transformers, the G1 show, premiered on September 17th, 1984.
Yeah, so wow, that was like right before this movie then, or like right around the same time at least.
Yeah, definitely around the same time. And the thing that, again, that's kind of like hilarious about this commercial movie is that I haven't fully watched Transformers the movie with like Orson Welles, but that movie like had actual effort. So like Transformers, like arguably one of the most famous toy commercial series to ever exist.
Oh yeah, like I feel like we're gonna be making that comparison a lot because Transformers was like Rainbow Bright originally made to sell toys, but Transformers actually had some effort and quality put into it,
Oh yeah.
and that's why it's still a massive franchise today.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And also, a fun fact, just some related. The original Transformers series was produced by Marvel Productions, which apparently they were like, after a while, they're like, nah, we don't want Transformers. God, what a fucking hell. God, poor Marvel in the mid late 80s and early 90s.
Yeah, I think they also made some Transformers comics during that time.
Yeah.
I think in the mid or late 2000s, there was like a crossover comic with the Avengers. There was. I think I actually own that graphic novel.
Yeah, I don't
Actually,
doubt it, but it's like crazy, like all like the rabbit holing. And also, I think Marvel, oddly enough, was the original publisher, or like one of their imprints was the original publisher of like Men in Black. But like Marvel just made bad choices. Because oh my god.
like wow, way to miss the boat on this one. But getting back to the movie and the voice cast, somebody else who lended their voice to this movie was a 14-year-old by the name of Scott Menville, which, if you've ever watched the animated Teen Titans series, you will recognize as the boy wonder, Robin. Now, I believe, yeah, he was only 14 when he voiced in this, which I didn't even realize he'd been around that long.
Oh yeah, no, he's been around for a hot minute because I remember him. He like played like that parody of like Doogie Howser on the infamous episode of Rugrats where Angelica fakes breaking her leg, and that's where the stew pudding meme comes from.
Stu, what are you doing? Watching Rainbow Bright and the Star-Stealer. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Why on earth are you watching Rainbow Bright at 4 in the morning? Because I've lost control of my life.
God damn it.
Sorry.
No, it was necessary. You had to do it. You had to shoot your shot.
I'm so sorry, but yeah, so I didn't realize that Scott Menville had been doing voiceover for that long, but I guess it's like a Ben Diskin situation where he's basically been a voice actor since he was a kid.
Yeah.
And I think this was actually one of the first things he voiced. It wasn't the first thing, I don't think, but one of.
Yeah. And also, just to kind of before we like get into it, just the irony of this being like Deke is because Deke would oh, you know what? Actually, do you want to say what Rainbow Bright's Japanese title is?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, so Rainbow Bright has an alternate title in Japan. In Japan, it is known as Magical Girl Rainbow Bright.
And then the irony of Deke about a little over a decade later would help localize arguably the magical girl series of all time, Sailor fucking Moon.
Oh my god.
Rainbow Bright told the future. Like, you just had to look at it from a different perspective.
Ay, ay, ay. Like, I already thought it was a maddening rabbit hole between, like, Miyazaki and, like, Transformers connections. I thought that was, like, insane enough. But, yeah, apparently they predicted the future with Sailor Moon. God. Oh, no.
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I'm kind of curious. I honestly think this isn't going to be as bad. God, you know what? I hope not because the last fucking Scooby Doo took us like 4 hours to record. By the time we finished, it was like 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It was a mess. I don't think this is going to be as messy. I just hope this is going to be like enjoyably dumb.
I should hope so, because a lot of the rage around that Scooby-Doo movie was because it's from a property that we both enjoyed and we both got like really pissed off at how much it's been butchered. I know fuck all about Rainbow Bright, so I don't think I'm gonna
I
be.
know nothing. I remember just like some Robot Chicken sketches. And you know what? Also, the other thing with the last movie is the thing that arguably like pissed me off the most was the fucking Alan Smithy joke. I'm like, fuck you. Fuck you.
Ugh, God, that was so cringeworthy because I looked it up and like the Alan Smithy name hasn't even really been majorly in use since like at least the early 2000s, if even then. So like, what kid watching this movie would have even gotten that joke?
I don't even think their parents would have gotten it. Like, we only know about it because we're film nerds. So.
Ugh. All right. So I think before we get into this movie, we should probably talk about. Well, this movie is probably a big reason why Rainbow Bright isn't really as well known now because it was only in theaters for like 5 weeks and they only did like 3 showings a day in theaters. It only made like $5 million, which I couldn't find a budget for it, considering how much outsourcing they did. And the fact that this series didn't become the next Care Bears, I can't imagine they didn't make very tidy of a profit.
I mean, I'm sure they broke even, like, because obviously if the time period, like, this is more like on a TV budget and schedule, if this thing cost more than $800,000 to make, I would be legitimately shocked.
Ugh. Guess we're gonna see how it looks.
Yeah, but I'm actually kind of, like, excited for this because I don't know anything, and we've been talking about like picking an 80s movie for a while, so what a one to start with. Just what a rainbow of adventure. Ha ha ha.
Yahoo.
Anyway, quick reminder to how we do things in the podcast. Gio and I are going to watch the movie and then we'll put a little trailer clippity doo-dah in there, and after that we will give you our thoughts.
Rainbow Bright stars in her first full-length feature film, filled with new songs, new characters, and more adventure than you ever imagined. You can follow the rainbow to a theater near you. You'll love Rainbow Bright and The Star-Stealer. Rated G. Now playing at a theater near you.
Rainbow Bright? That was kinda gay!
Heyo.
Oh my god.
So I just want to preface this by saying that both of us within the last 24 hours watched K-pop Demon Hunters, which if you haven't watched it by now, you need to. That shit is goated. I just want to give the proper context, and juxtaposing that and this made watching this like 20 times funnier.
Oh, it did. Oh, it did.
Oh.
And also the other part that made it funnier, I said I wasn't going to do like drugs again because drugs are bad, except I decided to drink some White Claws, you know, white girl beverage of choice. But I must say, it truly enhanced the experience.
Yeah, this.
Just where to begin? Here's the thing, like, this is about what we expected it to be, like, gayness aside, and also like straight up, one character is pretty much like a white nationalist. Like, we're joking, but also kind of like low key serious because he's got like the little lightning bolt and like a mustache, which makes you go, "Huh, interesting."
And then he said he wanted to remove all the color in the world. Boy, Breaking Bad got weird in later seasons, huh?
Oh, so you're just a white nationalist then? Cool, bro. Cool.
Get it, banana brain.
I mean, you have a mustache too,
Mr.
so
White.
buddy, you ain't beating the allegations.
They're stealing the.
Okay, naked.
They're stealing the rainbows, Mr. White. Well, he's dead.
I was about to say that. Oh yeah, no, he's definitely paralyzed from like the waist down. But no, I just realized he has like a lightning bolt thing, so that kind of further more evidence the fact that he's a right nationalist. He's a, white nationalist,
Boy, Murky, I bet it's shiny. Not after I get done with it. This is my chance to rid the universe of color forever. Let's go. Maybe we should hear the rest
My
of the
God, he is a
message.
white nationalist.
Go ahead. You want them to beat us to that diamond?
God.
His name's Crusader. He's my horse now.
Oh, good. On top of the white nationalist, now we have the religious zealot.
Wonderful.
I'll get your horse back. We'll get him back.
It's kind of crazy knowing that the Westboro Baptist Church has been kind of going through this shit since the 80s. Oh, and that was the one character among many that was voiced by Peter Cullen, so that was interesting. And then I remember as another thing, there was like one of these, I don't know, the fucking puffballs. I don't give a shit what they're actually called. But I said, wow, that kind of sounds like Cow from Cow and Chicken. And then it turned out it actually was fucking Charles Adler. Like, incredible.
Yeah, which, by the way, those puffballs, like, the Minions weren't the original Minions. Let's just put it that way. Like,
No.
the practice of trying to make little cute creatures marketable cute creatures, that's a practice that long predates the Minions, and that's clearly what those things were.
But low-key, and I was joking in this when we were watching the movie, I feel like the people that got those plushes were like the kids that everyone hated, that, your parents made you go to their birthday party and you just gave them that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But good lord. But again, this is the movie, this, movie's kind of like a generous term. This is more of a collection or a scene-lection of scenes.
Yeah.
Shit just happens.
Things just kind of happen in this movie. Like, the main plot of this was supposed to be like stopping the princess from stealing the diamond, but I feel like the middle of the movie just forgets about the diamond in the first place.
Yeah, and just decides to get like oddly, like gratuitously violent. Like, there's not like any blood and gore, but I don't know, maybe it's because I'm used to seeing more modern like S&P stuff, but for like something that's meant to be viewed from between like 6 to 10-year-olds, this was like kind of violent.
Yeah, this got weirdly dark at points, like especially with like the plot of like, well, if we don't stop her from stealing the diamond, the universe is gonna die.
And that's not like hyperbole, like the Earth almost goes into like a second ice age. They're like, if they don't fix this shit, like shit's fucked.
Like, all this is in the hands of a little girl and a misogynist Mega Man.
I know, and I love how many times, like, low-key, like, Rainbow Bright kind of sounds like Dora, and she's like, oh no! Oh no! Oh no, my gay horse! What are we supposed to do? Oh no! I'll tolerate your casual misogyny, because I'm a girl, and this is the mid-80s!
Oh god, we need to talk about the gay horse. We need to talk about the rainbow horse. That is like, we keep, it's not just because he's a literal rainbow horse. He is like in a perpetual state of gay panic in this entire movie.
Oh, low-key he is. Like, if this horse was a person, he would have loafers, have like a pencil mustache. This horse would basically be like a less creepy version of John Waters.
He's like, I can never wear booties in this weather, or I do not design castles with horses in mind. Like, that is the whole movie with this horse.
Yeah, this horse is so bothered. I was talking with Gio. I know Gio hasn't watched She-Ra Princesses of Power, the She-Ra reboot that came out a couple years ago. But one of the things that people hated was like Swiftwind, because he's like kind of like cringe funny, but I'm like, Swiftwind has always like kind of sucked. I mean, I'm in the camp of like Swiftwind is fine, actually. But this horse is just basically a fucking shittier version of Swiftwind.
Yeah, this horse was just really the one thing this movie had going for it was like the overt gayness.
Like at the beginning of the movie, like this horse unicorn thing, I guess he's a horse. Yeah, I don't know. You know what? That part's not important, but he gets stung in the ass by this like weird fucking bee with like a furry face. And that's in the moment when that horse first talks and then breaks into song. We both went, oh no. Oh, what a dick bee. You got the unicorn on the ass. You're homophobic.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first cutie mark.
Yeah, from the homophobic bee. Oh god, no, I think this horse is actually gay.
Oh no.
Oh my god, he's a drag queen. He's lip syncing. Like, where's RuPaul? Is he hiding behind the trees?
I'm gonna need to listen to Takedown again after this because holy moly.
Oh, it's a demon rabbit. It's red eyes. Ugh.
Hi-ho. This movie sucks a hole.
We're missing 2 of them because we ate them. Because we're cannibals.
Why do they keep focusing on this horse's ass?
What do you take me for? The morning bus?
Oh yes, those butterflies are so heavy. What a sissy horse.
Listen, we are progressives.
And low-key, this horse's face was like the most detailed part of this movie. Like, I think most of the budget just went into this horse's facial expressions.
Yeah, like, it's weirdly, and even to a degree, like, kind of uncomfortable, like, how realistic this horse's face is.
A lot of this feels like a movie that was made by a bunch of different studios because it feels like so many of the, like, creatures and, like, even people in this movie were designed by totally different people.
And, like, here's, like, the thing, too. For as much as a hot mess this productions kind of is, like, the animation overall, like, obviously, it's lacking for something. It ain't no Disney. Like, let's just be honest here. But for, like, TV budget animation, it honestly, like, isn't terrible.
Yeah, no, the animation itself was fine. It was just the character design in this was, like, all over the place.
Oh, yeah. And also, I'm sorry for if anyone's super nostalgic about Rainbow Brite, those original G1 Generation 1 designs are fucking ugly. I'm sorry. Like, just their fat heads, like, they look like Cabbage Patch Kids that got mutated. Like, they're just, like, fat and uncomfortable, and, like, those eyes. It's just, like, when they stare, it's, like, so,
Yeah, nah. That wasn't it. That was not it.
It was, in fact, not it.
Oh my god. But, like, this movie, I mean, what is there to even say? This is 100% a commercial made into a movie. Like, things just happen and characters just appear and we're supposed to just know who they are.
Yeah, remember this one? And I remember, like, oh, hey, you know that black purple horse with, like, the lightning bolts that looks badass? That, you know, if you're a boy and you like this, you'll look cool and totally not be accused of being gay and bullied in school.
Ay. Oh yeah, by the way, can we just talk about, like, Rainbow Brite's little collection of friends who, like, appear in the first 10 minutes of the movie and then only show up, like, a couple more times?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they sing their, you know, shitty little fucking 80s song, which is, God, the instrumentation of that, I'm like, the fucking drum machine just made me go, oh, fuck.
Yeah, things just happen in this movie with, like, no rhyme or reason to any of it.
I mean, there's a reason probably why this has a 0% of Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, it might be because I have a feeling this film probably wasn't screened a lot for critics and maybe some of those reviews are lost to time, but is it the worst thing I've ever seen? No, but it's very transparent in what it's trying to be, and I don't feel like I was offended. it was just like, I kind of feel like we both knew what we were getting into, so we kind of had a little bit more of a time with it.
Yeah, yeah. It was more so just like pointing and laughing at things than just being like, ugh, ugh.
I mean, this movie is like enjoyably dumb.
Yeah, yeah. It's certainly nowhere near as offensive as the last movie we watched.
No, but a lot of dumb things happen. Like, one of the things that made me laugh my ass off. So I guess it's like close to like the second act or like midway through the movie or whatever. Rainbow Bright and her little misogynistic frenemy. I don't know what they are, but anyway, they get like captured. They're like in the dungeon. The stupid princess who's like obsessed with her diamond steals Rainbow Bright's magic belt that gives her her powers, and then the goat of the movie, the black like robot horse, comes down and like has the belt. But instead of like the kids just going up to the dungeon window and just jumping out, the freaking horse just like launches the belt in there. And of course, then the guards are there, which basically to me exists so that Rainbow Bright could do something cool and not be like captured for like a minute. Because she gets like captured a lot. She's just like, oh no! Like so many times. I'm like, I lost count how many times she said, oh no!
Oh no! Oh no, Starlight, my taxes are overdue.
God. That robot horse. I mean, honestly, the design of it was kind of cool, but also like the MVP of the movie, like unironically.
Oh, he was 1,000 times more useful than Gay Panic Horse. 1,000 times. And then when it's like time for like the final like confrontation and the castle or whatever, the robot horse just flies off.
I'm not. I'm not afraid of anything.
You have the prism now.
But how does it?
Work? Just as you saw. All you have to do is knead it. It will do its job. As long as you're
Okay,
perfect.
All you have to do is knead it.
Rainbow is near, and I must do my job. Spectre
So if it
must
doesn't
be
work,
kept
does it mean you don't need it
alive
enough?
until
What
you
the fuck
destroy
does that
the
even
stone.
mean?
I'm afraid I'll have to borrow my horse. Old Onyx, trusty steed of noble voice.
You can ride with me on Starlight.
And remember,
Orin,
the whole
Orin.
universe depends on you.
So no pressure.
Be brave, be bold, and don't fight with each other.
What words of wisdom?
Well, thanks for taking away the horse that actually has been useful up to this point. So now it's just two kids
I
and the...
don't like the idea of you going up there without me.
I'll send the rainbow down for you as soon as it's safe
Oh my
to use
god.
it.
This horse has not stopped griping this entire movie.
He had to return to his home planet. Like, literally. Like, it was the joke from The Simpsons. And I almost expected a title card to say he died on his way back to his home planet.
God damn it. Oh my god. But yeah, Robot Horse was like actually doing things and like bailing them out of danger while Gay Panic Horse was off to the side, like complaining about something.
Right, mad that he had to wear booties. Like, he was so offended.
Or that he had to stand like waist deep in water. It's like, come on, bro.
It's like, what kind of fucking horse are you? I'm like, that's like the... Look, I've ridden horses for like pretty much all my life. That is like base level, functioning to be a horse. Like, most horses are like, hey, if the water's waist deep, and as long as it's not flowing super hard, I'll just rough it. Like, what the fuck kind of horse are you?
Kind that is just so like over everything, clearly.
Yeah, like, I remember like every time like the camera cuts to him and he's like bitching, his hair's flowing. Like, that's his job. It's just to look pretty.
Oh yeah, they're like on a planet with like no wind blowing or anything. And he's still standing there with like those long locks just flowing. And I'm like, okay, I guess that's just the natural state for gay people then. Just hair constantly flowing.
Right, either that or he just has a giant box fan with him everywhere and he just sets it up off camera. He's like, No. This is gonna look great for my Instagram story. Shut up.
Which, by the way, since we're on the topic of space, can we just talk about the fact that they can all just breathe in outer space with no problems?
I know, like, the world building here, just to be generous, is kind of nonsensical. Like, there is no consistency.
And like interstellar travel that should be taking days at the least, months or even years at the most, they just do it in like a couple of minutes.
It's like, boop.
It's like they just make the little rainbow bridge from Earth to like the space diamond, and then they're there like almost instantly. It's like, okay.
Sure. Cool. Why not? But again, just to kind of go with the world building a bit, I forget what the brown blob that kind of looks like, caveman from like Hanna-Barbera, but he has to wear a space helmet. Like, what are the rules of this universe? Because we kind of just keep changing him to whatever, we're vibing with today.
Yeah, and like this gets so confusing because there is like a real like human society on this version of Earth, like just a regular old suburbia Earth. And then there's just Rainbow Land off to the side, and it's like, okay, like, is Rainbow Land just like existing on Earth? Is it like in a parallel dimension? Like, what are the optics here? Because Rainbow Bright just shows up on regular Earth at one point, and it's like, okay.
Also, on Earth, I just want to share like my appreciation for this one scene. So, I guess this happened in the TV show or whatever, but the little kid that I'm pretty sure is voiced by Scott Menville is given a rainbow key, and he uses it to open the closet, and it doesn't work.
I wonder what the messaging might be there.
It's a mystery. Like, I just love, like, all the, like, look, if I wasn't gay, like, the shit I said would have been really offensive. I mean, if you're, like, a little pussy, it still might be, but, like, I was making every gay joke that there was, like, jokingly, and then it fucking happened. Like, I felt like a goddamn wizard. It was so weird. Oh my god, it's gay water! It's turning the frogs gay!
Oh no!
Oh my god, there's a frog! Oh no!
Oh no! Yeah, it would be like, hey, this is kind of gay, isn't it? And then it would just be that.
But oh my god, we have to talk about the ultimate gay moment.
Oh no!
I know we're skipping back and forth, but I'm like, there's not really much plot to this. I mean, this is literally like, this could have easily been like a 1-hour TV special if they like cut a couple scenes. Like, this is very much made for TV movie vibes that they just decided to shove in the theaters. But anyway, so do you want to describe, the premise, the buildup to this ultimate moment of good versus evil?
Okay, so they shatter the diamond thing. That's the source of the princess's powers or whatever. She just has sitting in the middle of her room out in the open, unprotected. Okay, sure. So she takes her giant, like, Evangelion spaceship thing to go steal a big diamond herself. And then as soon as she gets to the planet, like, Rainbow Bright fires off her little rainbow thing. And it causes a big explosion, and then the princess goes, "No, not the rainbow." And then there's this long reverb, and then that's how she's defeated. Also, that ship is just a giant dick.
Yeah.
Not now! We can't be out of fuel now! There must be something.
Oh, so she just killed her pet. Nice.
If I can't have that diamond, no one's going to have
This has got to be the most fragile diamond in existence.
I always get my way in the end.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Holy shit!
Oh my god. Oh my god, the reverb on that just made it.
She was too homophobic, so she blew up. It's like she explodes, like she dies, like horrifically. Yeah, that's the other thing in this movie is they're very liberal about the word like die, which for like a kids movie, like kind of was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. They're like, the universe will die, the world will die, we will die. It's like, oh my god.
Like it's kind of morbid, like not gonna lie.
And like there was this one scene where like they almost got like impaled on spikes. It's like, what the fuck?
It was bizarre. Like, I mean, here's like I know I always say here's the thing, but here's the thing. I mean, we both went into this movie knowing it was going to be like a toy commercial or like whatever. Still, I was not expecting it to be like that kind of like violent and just be like, oh, it's, you know, like it's not like dark, but considering that this is Rainbow Bright, it's dark for what it is. It's, oy vey.
Yeah. And this goes back to what I was saying about the creature design in this movie. Like some of the monsters they encounter are like really kind of horrific and scary.
Yeah, they're horrifying. Like, you know, if I was like a 4-year-old watching this in the theater, I would probably be shitting my pants.
Yeah, like there was the giant frog lizard monster things, and then that one like demon looking thing in the water that looked like it would belong in a completely different movie.
Like, look here, it looked like it would belong in like early Dragon Ball.
Yeah, like you could tell this was the product of several different studios because a lot of this does not mesh together at all.
Oh yeah, there was no coherent vision to be found here. It was just like, well, yo, we gotta do this. So, get cracking.
Y'all have 3 months. Good luck.
That honestly is the scariest thing of all. Because I'm like, what did they have, like 25-hour days? Like, legit, like, whoever worked on this movie, you did an amazing job. And, like, literally the shittiest of circumstances.
Oh, yeah. Like, somehow they got it done, and I can commend them for that. But you could tell this was a 3-month production by multiple animation studios.
Oh, yeah, like, this, low-key, it's just low-budget anime. Like, they don't do it as much anymore, but this kind of felt like the animation quality you would see in like a weekly shonen anime. Like, it's not the worst, but you could tell that they cut corners.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think there was one scene where, like, the 2 little bumbling villains were running, and, like, the background you could tell was in, like, a loop, and then it just switched to a completely different background and just started the loop again. Like, it was really obvious at points.
Yeah, they're like, oh, well, because, you know, back then they had to develop this on, like, cells and film, so they're like, well, shit, we don't have time to refilm this, so, just whatever, I guess. We got paid.
Hopefully some podcast weirdos 40 years from now don't notice it.
Oh, shit, I just realized this movie actually is 40 years old. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's actually horrifying. That 1985 was 40 years ago. What the hell? Like, it's kind of crazy to think about, like, where we are now from, like, the 80s, like, in our year 2025, is basically, like, the distance between, like, the end of World War II and then the 80s. Like, that is, like, fucked up.
Sorry for making everybody feel old.
It's okay. the rainbows will make us stronger. God, how many times they say power of rainbows? But you know what? I kind of feel like we should address some of like aspects of it and maybe talk a little bit about kind of like the toy commercial like phenomenon, because honestly, like I had this would like later change basically the landscape of TV. And then, you know, when we grew up, like none of this stuff of like the toy commercials was like really like allowed as much, at least not in the sense that it was.
It's weird. Like, this is definitely the age of like shows made to sell toys. Like, Transformers, we mentioned, came out around this same time. You know, TMNT would come out sometime after. And it's like, it's weird that in a lot of ways that mentality hasn't changed. Because how often have we heard that a popular animated show was canceled after 1 or 2 seasons because toy sales weren't high enough?
Yeah, it's just, and like here's like the thing. I hate that I say the thing, but yeah, I don't know how else to phrase this, but as we kind of go through time, like I know kids still play with toys, obviously, but I kind of feel like, you know, more kids are more into like tablets and like other things. So having shows like dependent on toy sales in like the mid 2020s is kind of a ludicrous idea.
It feels more like a justification to cancel something than anything else. Because
Yeah.
because canceling something not because of viewership numbers, but because of merch sales, just that might have flown in the 80s or 90s, but nowadays it's like, no, no.
Especially since like half the time, and I've heard this from a couple of industry people, like they're like hesitant to make any merch. If I recall correctly, and I this is hearsay, I don't know anyone in the production like 100%, but one of the reasons why the DuckTales reboot wasn't renewed past a I think it was like a third or fourth season was because they did do a big merch push, but the merch didn't sell well. So it just kind of petered out because I guess, you know, DuckTales was like a big legacy Disney afternoon thing, and Disney was gunning and like, oh, like, you know, bunch of toy sales or whatever. But the truth is, the most people that were interested in the show, either adults or like younger, like millennials or like Zoomers, aren't like, they'll buy merch, but they're not super into toys.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, merch sales, I feel like for those kinds of nostalgia driven things are gonna be from older fans. But they're gonna be buying like just like regular merch, not like toys per se.
I feel like something like the Ninja Turtles is a little bit different because they do have like some higher end like collectibles. But like again, for something like DuckTales, that's like how many people do you think were clamoring for a Huey, Dewey, or Louie action figure? I'm like, are you high? But it sucks that a production is like set up like that, and then it kind of has like, you know, a domino effect that studios are hesitant to push any merch or like much promotion. Then it's like, well, people weren't interested. I'm like, well, you didn't give them the fucking chance.
No, no, it's just insane to think that toy sales are going to be your main source of revenue when you're making something. Like, again, when you're making a show that's basically a toy commercial, like something like Rainbow Bright or Transformers or even like My Little Pony, that's merch sales feel more important because that was kind of the driving force for making the show in the first place. Something like DuckTales, that just doesn't. I just don't think toy sales were the main focus going in. So why would that be a deciding factor in canceling it?
It's so bizarre. Well, I think that was one of the factors, along with, you know, Disney's rotating wheel of executives. Which honestly, like, you would be shocked how many cartoons are canceled because there's a new executive and they're like, oh, not mine. Boop, gone.
That happens so often, and not just in entertainment, just in general. Like when a new boss comes in, he's like, all right, time to clear everything out.
Yeah, it's honestly like crazy. And then you have people like weird conspiracy theories, like why such and such is canceled. I mean, and the answer, like 9 times out of 10, it will just be because leadership changed and it wasn't their show, and they just woke up on the wrong side of the bed and just chose violence. Like, it's not really any deeper than that.
Nah.
But this is like my hot take. I didn't think this was like as egregious as some of the other, toy commercial franchises of this era. Like, honestly, like, as I said earlier, I feel like this would have been fine as a TV special. There's nothing about this movie that like offended my sensibilities. It's just, it's kid crap.
Yeah, no. It was basically something you flip on a Saturday morning and just keep it on in the background, or put it to keep the kids occupied for a bit. Maybe you buy the toy after, maybe you don't. It's harmless.
Yeah, it's very much the epitome of like a babysitter movie.
Yeah, so honestly, I could see why critics wouldn't have liked this. It feels like a kid's film. It's a kid's film. Like, it felt harmless. It was fun to like point and laugh at it for a bit, but at the end of the day, I didn't think it was like offensive or anything. And like, there were parts where I was like, oh yeah, they're trying to. I could see them making merch of this, but I didn't feel like it was blatant.
Yeah, the only time I felt it was kind of like, was probably the when they were showing like all the horses, because they wanted you to really, really look at the horses. But yeah, honestly, this is just kind of fine. Like, certainly, like, not the best, not the worst. It's just kind of like background noise. If you're looking for like 80s schlock, I mean, you could do worse. I mean, this is very, very like early mid 80s. And I mean, I've enjoyed it, and I didn't know shit about this franchise or anything. I'm sure if you grew up with Rainbow Bright, you would probably get more out of this. But overall, I mean, it's fine. But like you said, it is the epitome of a kid's movie. It's not a family movie. This is just something that's geared for small children or adults that have nothing better to do like us.
Yeah, this is how we're spending our Saturday night.
Well, you know what? I would rather do this than talk about current events. And if you know, we're not going to elaborate on that.
Nope.
All right. I think we can wrap this one up. So, Gio, where can everyone find you?
All right. If you so choose, you can find me on evking13 at bluesky.social. I'm currently rambling about K-pop Demon Hunters. Please watch it. It's amazing.
Yes, please support the good animation. And Sony is, again, kind of fucking killing it. And I'm like, yo, Disney, Pixar, everyone else, what the shit are you doing? But that's just my opinion. And if you want to hear more of my spicy opinions, you can follow me on Blue Sky at crazylemur.bsky.social. I'm also on Instagram at lemurs1, where I'm slowly starting to post, puppy pics and my personal art, which is like a big brave thing that I did. And to slowly have just a little bit of confidence has been great. But yeah, that kind of wraps it up for us for this episode of Late Crap, which I just realized, this is our 10th episode, and we didn't even say it, because we were just all up in that rainbow shit. But we'll see y'all next time. Bye!
Rainbow! Let's go do capitalism!
Yay, capitalism!
Thank you. Twink the Star Sprinkle.
His name is Twink?
Oh no!
Oh no!